everyone, my name is Willow Rose Moondancer. I make Wiccan videos here on YouTube, and I have a blog called wiccans.wiccan.com. For the last month, we have been talking about the basics on what Wicca is, and today we are going to start getting more specific. So, this next series, it's going to be a two-part series. And it is going to be on altars. So today what we're going to talk about is what exactly altars are. So I feel like when people hear the word altar, their very first thought is that it has to do with like sacrificing people or animals or something like that, when in reality, altars have nothing to do with sacrifice at all. So the purpose of an altar is kind of like the purpose of a church for a Christian. So Christians go to church so they have a place of worship. Now, unlike Christians or Jews or Muslims, Wiccans do not have a place for worship. The only exception to this is maybe if you have a coven, and so you and your coven worship at a certain place. But for the most part, especially for those of us who are solitary, we don't have a place of worship. So our place of worship is our altar. So these altars are typically found in the home. They can be set up as an altar all the time, or they can be more temporary. So for example, in my bedroom, I have an old bureau, and on my bureau I just have pretty much regular stuff, or I have nothing depending on the day. All of my Wiccan belongings, if you will, are within my bureau. So if someone was to come into my room and they looked at my altar, they would just think that that's where I keep my clothes. And when I am ready to do a ritual or a spell or anything like that, I take the stuff that I need out of my bureau, out of my altar, and I put it on top and I set it up. This is mostly just because I have cats. And my cats will pretty much destroy anything I leave out for them. So, but for some people, they have to keep their practice secret. And so having a permanent altar is not a viable option for them. So having more of a temporary altar is more their speed, which is absolutely okay. There is no right or wrong way to have your altar. So typically an altar is just a flat surface. It can be a table, it can be a bureau like mine, it could be a stump, like a tree stump, as long as the top is flat, or like a huge rock, as long as it's flat. I have used just the floor before. I have set up on my bed before. All you need is a surface where you can hold your things. And then on your altar, if you were to have a permanent altar, or even if you're just setting up for a ritual, some of the things that you might put on your altar would be like a pentacle, a chalice, candles, incense, crystals. You might have cauldrons. You might have feathers or shells. Really anything that you think represents your path. A lot of Wiccans like to have stuff specifically for earth, air, fire, and water. You can also decorate your altar for particular Sabbaths. So say you want to celebrate Mabon, then you could go out into nature and find like leaves, acorns, pine cones, twigs, anything like that, and put it on your altar. If maybe you're looking for decorations for Ostara, you might go and you might find some wild spring flowers. Or for Yule, maybe you'll You'll find some like berries out in nature, like fall or winter berries. You could find like pine, like from your pine trees and stuff like that. You could still find acorns. You could put some snow into like a chalice or any other container, really. And even though it'll melt, it'll still be snow water, and you could put that on your altar. Now, another way that you can decorate your altar is you can decorate your altar for a specific deity or for your ancestors. Now, some people have a completely separate altar, kind of like a shrine, just to various deities and ancestors, but you could also incorporate your decorations onto your regular altar. So for me, I worship Gaia, so maybe I would have more earth related elements on my altar, or I could have I believe it's green obsidian, I want to say. I know my sister gifted it to me, but I can't remember exactly what it was, but it is a crystal that represents Gaia. I could put that on my altar. A common thing to have on your altar is like either like a yellowy, red, orange candle for the god and like a white candle for the goddess. But if you wanted to make it more personalized to your matron and patron, you could have physical statues of them, or just other objects too that you connect with to represent them. That's also an option that you could do. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, just talking about what altars are. Make sure you come back next week, because we're going to dive into like the specific tools, like the cauldron and the atham and candles and all that stuff, and actually talk about what they represent. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out my blog, wiccansartworking.com. I make about 2 posts a day. And make sure you like and comment. What do you have on your altar? Do you have a temporary one, or do you have a permanent one? And make sure you subscribe to my channel. That way you get notifications when I post. Until next time, blessed be.